Lewis, wake up, wake up!
Oh, what, Niamh? Oh, I'm so tired.
Oh, come on, we've got a show to do.
What?
That's right, we've got a great green make, a tough game of Beachcombers bingo, where we'll be trying something new at the beach, and some very special guests in the studio.
Wait, is it Sunday?
Yes.
Is it 9 AM?
Yes!
It's time for Trailblazers! Hello, I'm Lewis.
And I'm Niamh.
And welcome to Trailblazers, the show that says do try this at home.
And we have got loads of fun new skills, talents and hobbies coming your way. But first, Lewis, what's the show all about?
Well, Niamh, I think it's fair to say that we're both tired of being stuck at home with nothing to do. So this show is all about having a go. A trailblazer is anyone who pushes themselves to try a new activity, and someone who also likes to share the things they love so other people can get involved too.
And what better way to start than sending us your videos of trailblazing moments on the CBBC website? And let us know what new adventure you want to see in the show, just like Finn.
Hi, I'm Finn, and since last week's show, I've been practicing my football skills. This week, I want to learn more about the environment. Let's go.
Well, Finn, it's funny you might ask that because this week we are going to be environmental pioneers.
That's right, we all know climate change is a massive problem all around the world, so we'll be finding out some of the small changes that we can make to create a big difference to save our planet.
To start, I thought it would be interesting to understand just how much carbon the average person uses each year. So I headed over to the Trailblazers website and put my details into the carbon calculator. You can try this at home too if you want to know what your carbon footprint is. But Niamh, can you guess how much CO2 is in my carbon footprint?
I know you got the train here, so I'm gonna guess 10.
She's thinking 10, but I'll give you a clue. It's 74% of the average person's.
I'm gonna say 9.
She's saying 9, but I can reveal it is a huge whopping 7.78 tonnes! Now it's all well and good knowing just how much carbon we use, but Niamh, what things can we do to help save the environment?
Well, I thought this called for some expert advice, so please welcome to the show Felix and Flo from Zero Waste Shop, Want Not Waste. Welcome to the show, Felix and Flo.
Thanks so much for having us.
You're very welcome. So first of all, what is a Zero Waste Shop and what made you want to become a volunteer at Want Not Waste?
Well, a zero waste shop is basically a shop that tries to reduce the amount of waste the shop generates by bulk purchasing, basically buying a lot of stuff at once, and also encouraging customers to bring in their own little containers from home so we can only fill it up to what they need rather than having some extra food waste. So at first I joined Wanna Waste because I really cared about this planet. I really want to help the environment. So I joined Wanna Waste.
Oh, it's so great of you, Felix. And Flo, why is it so important that we all do our bit to help the environment?
Well, climate change is an issue that affects everything on the planet, including plants, animals, and people from all countries. So now is a great time to step up and prevent irreversible damage from happening to our environment.
Well, we found out my carbon footprint is 7.78 tonnes and I want to make this as low as possible. So are there any simple changes I can make to reduce my CO2?
Absolutely. There are lots of changes we all can make at home, and we're going to teach you a few of them now.
We've got some boxes here, and under each is an example of a swap you can make to reduce your carbon footprint. You'll see we've got the amount of saved carbon hidden at the moment, and that's because I thought we could turn this into a bit of a higher or lower guessing game. Is that okay?
Ooh, that's all right with
Definitely.
me.
Well, I think it's time to reveal the first swap. What is it?
Here we have a drinks bottle that many of us would use once and throw away. Even though we're encouraged to recycle them, most end up in landfills where they can take over 450 years to biodegrade.
450 years?
Wow.
Blimey, I tell you. You see, the thing is, I only really buy these because I get thirsty, so what can I use instead?
Well, that's right. When we're out and about, it's normal to need a drink of water. But using a reusable water bottle like this one means you can refill it whenever you need to. Every time you do so, it saves another plastic bottle from the bin. The average person uses about 5 PET bottles a week. So can you guess how much CO2 this swap can save you over a whole year?
I'm gonna say 20 kilograms.
I think 23.
Oh, let's see.
I can reveal that by doing this swap, the average person can save 21.5 kilograms of CO2 a year. That's about the same weight as an elephant's heart.
Whoa, an elephant's heart. Well, we're off to a really great start, so what's next?
Here we have a nice stack of toilet rolls.
Toilet rolls? Well, I know paper comes from trees and trees are sustainable because we can replant them. So surely that's got to be less carbon than the plastic bottle.
Well, due to the way that the toilet paper is made, 1.8 grams of CO2 is produced for every single square. So you've got to guess how much CO2 that adds up over the course of a whole year. Is that higher or lower than 21.5 kilograms?
Higher.
Well, most people use about 20,000 sheets of toilet paper per year so about 100 rolls. That means that we use 36 kilograms of carbon.
Whoa.
And that's heavier than an average 10-year-old.
Average 10-year-old, but surely we can't swap toilet roll for something.
Well, I suppose we can always do what the Romans did with a sponge on a stick.
Lewis.
I don't think that would be very hygienic, Lewis, so why not swap out your current loo roll brand for a carbon offset alternative, just like this one. These brands plant trees and help fund green projects that remove CO2 from our environment.
Well, yeah, probably a bit better, isn't it?
I think so. Okay, Lewis, you've got 0 right so far, but let's see the next swap.
Okay, so underneath this box I have some t-shirts. The average person buys 20 new tops each year. So do you think their carbon footprint will be lower or higher than a year's supply of loo roll?
Lower.
Higher.
Lower.
Higher.
Lower.
Well, the average shirt can produce around 7 kilograms of CO2 by the time we add it to our wardrobes. So that means that the total carbon footprint is a whopping 140 kilograms of CO2 a year.
Whoa.
No, that is a lot of pollution. I guess I could reduce the amount of new clothes that I buy by going to charity shops instead and second-hand websites.
Absolutely. The fashion industry produces about 10% of all carbon dioxide emissions in the world. Buying sustainably produced fashion is a great way to find new outfits without contributing to problems caused by fast fashion.
I mean, it's nice to know that you can help the environment and still look really cool. But what's next?
Well, in our final box today, we have an item made of PVC. It's
What is it?
cling film. We use 17 kilograms of this stuff each year to try and keep our food fresh. But does that produce more or less carbon than a year's supply of t-shirts?
More.
More.
Yeah, higher.
Well, you're wrong. It produces 20.4 kilograms of CO2. So using something like beeswax wrap instead of cling film is a great and easy way to be more environmentally friendly.
And Niamh is going to show you how you can make your own at home later on in the show.
That's right, you won't want to miss out on that. But now we need to ask Flo and Felix, if someone was to make all of these swaps in their day-to-day life, just how much CO2 would we actually save?
Well, these are just a few ideas that we all can try at home, and in total, you can save 217.9 kilograms of CO2.
Wow.
Yes, it might only seem like a small amount of your total carbon footprint, but if everyone does a little to help our environment, we can create a big change.
Great.
Thank you so much for joining us, Felix and Flo. And if you at home want to find out more things you can try, head over to the Environmental Pioneers page on the CBBC website.
Plus, it's not just what we do at home that can help. There's plenty of things that you can try outside too, just like this activity we tried during our trip to the seaside. Take a look at this. Everybody loves a day out at the beach. Sand castles, ice cream. Litter? Rubbish is causing a serious problem for both us and marine life. To find out how we can help clean our local environment whilst trying something new, we've come for a day out at Formby Beach. Lewis, what are you doing?
It was a nice day, so I thought I'd catch a tan.
This is no day for the tan, for the sun and the sea and the sand. Come on, we've got a challenge. We need to find some helpers.
Oh.
Come on.
We've teamed up with Andy from the Marine Conservation Society. He loves to keep this place rubbish free, not just for those who are here for the day out, but for lots of local wildlife too. Andy has challenged us to a game of Beachcombers bingo, where we'll just have half an hour to find 9 of the most common pieces of beach litter as possible. And you can join in at home too. Just download the Beachcombers bingo card from the Trailblazers page on the CBBC website. Let's start the clock.
Take a look at this. I found a plastic drinking bottle. In the UK, we use 35 million plastic bottles every day. Only 20 million of these are recycled, meaning 15 million end up in landfill or sadly in the sea. Hey Lewis, I crossed the first thing off my list.
Well, Niamh might have found some plastic bottles, but look what I found, some bottle tops. Hello Olivia, you alright?
Yep.
I've just come across these bottle tops. Do you think that they cause a lot of harm to the environment?
Yeah, they're just like plastic bottles. They're very damaging to the marine life.
So if I was a little fish and I'm going back to my little house in under the sea, if I saw one of them, I think that looks really tasty. When plastics break down, they produce microplastics which fish can eat, and they end up in our food chain, and sadly, sometimes on our plates. So what do we tell people? We tell people don't drop the top.
Now, I don't know what has been happening on the beach today, but it looks like someone's been doing a bit of shopping. Now, plastic bags like this, as we know, are very harmful to the environment, and only 1 to 3% of people actually recycle them. What kind of harm can these plastic bags do?
Well, sea turtles often mistake them for jellyfish, and the problem is the sea turtles can end up dying from ingesting too much plastic.
Wow, so something as simple as removing this plastic bag and putting it in a bin can actually save a turtle's life. And nobody wants a plastic-filled lunch, do they?
That's very true.
Talking of lunch, I'm now sat with Andy having my little dinner break. So Andy, how long would you say you've been doing these beach cleans for?
So I've been doing beach cleans here since about 2010.
So across that 10-year gap, in a total of kilograms, how much rubbish do you think you actually collected?
It's over 2.5 tons.
Blimey. And if someone at home is watching this wants to get involved, how would they go about doing that?
The simple answer to that is go on Google and search for Marine Conservation Society. It's an organisation that protects and preserves the coastal environment of the UK. All across the country there's opportunities for people to get involved in Marine Conservation Society events.
Well, Andy, I finished my snack now, so I've got my bingo card and I'm going to cross off packets. But don't tell Niamh, alright? Don't tell Niamh.
Time is running out quick on our challenge, but we certainly aren't short of litter.
Okay teams, you've got 5 minutes left. Time's up, beach cleaners, let's regroup. Great job today, and it's great to see the beach looking so much tidier.
Now Andy, what's the results?
The winner, who managed to cross off just one more item than the competitor, was Niamh!
Yay! Massive thank you to Andy and all the volunteers for helping our beach look so tidy. Well, I think it's time for a fish and chips. And losers paying.
Oh, are they now?
You gonna have mushy peas with your fish and chips?
Of course I do, fish and chips. Oh, those fish and chips were lovely, and it was a great day out too, wasn't it, Niamh?
Oh, it definitely was. And you might be thinking, Niamh, I don't live near a beach. Well, don't worry, because we have loads of other bingo cards for you to try in places like the park or even your school playground, and you can find them all on our website.
Whilst you're there, why not send in your post or submit a video to tell us what trailblazing activities you've tried at home, just like these viewers.
First up, we have Kerry, who did this lovely paint by numbers. And Kerry said she'd love to go to the coast to do some dolphin spotting. How great does that sound?
Sounds fantastic. This wonderful poster saying there is no Planet 2 was sent to us by Lee. And this links very much with this poster from Maria saying reduce, reuse, recycle.
Now take a look at these. Year 5 from Elm Tree Primary School have been making these lovely butterfly designs as they learn about insects.
Talking of insects, we've been sent this wonderful video from Grace.
Hi Trailblazers. I love to know about bees.
Well Grace, I'm going to show you a great bee-inspired make in just a second, but before we do that, let's learn a little more about bees and why they're an important part about our environment. We share our planet with billions of these beautiful, hard-working flying insects, honeybees. Gareth from the Manchester Honey Company looks after these hives. It is his job to make sure the bees are healthy and happy.
So I've always been interested in bees and nature and wildlife, and I took a beekeeping course, not to really keep bees because I wanted to find more about them. Bees are a massive part of Mother Nature, and kids should, I think, understand.
As well as producing delicious golden honey, we need bees because they are pollinators, meaning we need them to put food on our table. Foods just like apples and almonds, raspberries and even coffee.
Oh, so this is looking good.
What can you do at home to help the bees? Well, the good news is you don't have to be a beekeeper. If you're lucky to have a garden, something that's really helpful is to create an area of wildflowers to grow and to let those grasses get nice and tall, and that's perfect for pollinators and different types of bees. Just like us, bees need to stay hydrated. Trays of rocks with a splash of water make for great drinking spots. But if you don't have a garden, you could always make something like a bee cafe. A pot with a couple of different plants and flowers in it that are rich in pollen and nectar, and that might just be the perfect spot for any bees to get a little bit of a recharge before they continue on their way. And in return for caring for the bees, we can make sure they're still able to provide us with all the delicious food they help to grow. And of course we can't forget that honey. But honey is not the only product that bees provide, no. We can also use their wax in some great environmental mix. Well, who'd have thought that such small insects could make such a big impact? Today, we're going to be making beeswax food wraps. These are great for the environment because they help combat food waste so that we throw away less, and they can be used to cover lots of things from sandwiches to ham or cheese and basically whatever you want to keep fresh. They're great to help reduce plastic pollution. So here's what we need. Beeswax pellets. We need some colourful fabrics. If you can recycle, that's brilliant. Some scissors, a baking tray, some tongs, and an adult to help you, because step 1 is to preheat the oven to a very low, around 90 degrees. Next up, we need our fabric, and we need to draw a nice little square onto the fabric too, just like this. It can be about the size of whatever it is you're trying to cover. In this case, a very small sandwich. So we need to cut it out then like so. And you can see I chose to use this nice bee patterned recycled fabric here as well. You can use cotton, linen, hemp fabrics are the best for this project, but make sure to ask an adult before chopping things up you find around the house. Step 2 then is we need to place our nice neat little square of material onto a baking tray. Got one here. And once that's done then, it is a very important bit. We've got to sprinkle these little wax pellets all over your material. Get loads on there. Now, did you know that wax is a waste product of bees? That doesn't mean that bees poo out wax. Bees actually have wax glands on their back, and they actually secrete the beeswax and they use it to cap the honey to keep it fresh and pure, and like that, it can last for years. So in a way, we're learning from the bees by making these wraps to protect our food too. Next then is you're going to need an adult to help with this. With the oven gloves on, like so, we're going to place the tray and material of the wax on into the oven for about 4 to 8 minutes, just until the wax melts. We haven't got time to wait now, so here's one I actually made earlier. Woo! Ooh, looks good. Now make sure you do use those oven gloves because it will be very, very hot. And still, without touching the baking tray, I'm going to grab my tongs and like so, we're then going to hang it to dry on this washing line. But we're going to leave it then for about 1 minute, and when it's cooled, you can cut it out to the shape of whatever it is you want to cover. So for us, we're covering jam jars, and we're just going to cut it into a little circle like we've done here. Now the top tip is to warm your hands, and then it just slightly softens the wax into that mold to whatever it is you actually want to cover. And there you have it. You can use these for up to 6 months, and to clean them, all you need to do is rinse them under some cold water. Now make sure you dive onto the Trailblazers website for all the instructions again, and don't forget to send in your pictures for us to see on next week's show.
Oh wow, these are great, Niamh. I think I might use mine for my sandwiches.
Great idea, Lewis. Oh, thanks.
And it looks like you have been drying these at home as well to make some lovely beeswax wraps. You've been letting us know your thoughts on the message board, just like Lindsay, who says she's going to make some tie-dye beeswax wraps.
That's very funky, I like that. Joel enjoyed watching us clean up Formby Beach, but he reckons he can try and lift even more rubbish than us. Bring it on, Joel.
Connie also says she has been inspired to get involved today and has suggested a tip for us. She says, why don't you save all the leftover odd vegetables you have in the fridge, instead of binning them, make a nice healthy soup. Yummy.
That does sound really good. I'm definitely going to give that a try. But I'm afraid that's it for today's show. Make sure you send us all the ways you've become environmental pioneers, and we'll share some on next week's show. But talking of next week's show, what's happening next Sunday, Lewis?
Well, Niamh, we have another jam-packed show for Craft Week. We are welcoming the art ninja himself, Ricky, to this studio, and we are setting the wonderful Niamh here a creative challenge. So we'll see you next Sunday at 9:30 on CBBC on the BBC iPlayer. Bye-bye!